Saudi Arabia, the largest country in the Middle East, is known for its vast deserts, modern cities, and economic power. However, despite its enormous landmass of about 2.15 million square kilometers, nearly 80% of its territory is uninhabited. But why is this the case? In today's video, we will take a deep dive into the many factors behind this phenomenon, exploring geography, climate, history, economy, and urban development. So, let's get started. Harsh geographical and climatic conditions. One of the biggest reasons for Saudi Arabia's empty land is its extreme desert environment. The country is dominated by three major deserts. Rub al-Khali, the empty quarter, the largest sand desert in the world, covering about 650,000 square kilometers. This desert alone makes up about a third of the country and is almost completely uninhabitable due to its shifting dunes, extreme heat, and lack of water. And Nafud Desert, a vast red sand desert in the north that spans approximately 103,600 square kilometers. Adana Desert, a long, narrow desert that acts as a bridge between the empty quarter and Nafud, covering around 40,000 square kilometers. These deserts experience scorching summers, where temperatures can exceed 50 degrees Celsius, 122 degrees Fahrenheit. The lack of natural water sources, combined with frequent sandstorms, makes permanent settlement in these areas nearly impossible. Water scarcity and lack of arable land. Water is the most crucial factor for sustaining human settlements, and Saudi Arabia is one of the most water-scarce countries in the world. No permanent rivers. Unlike countries with large rivers like Egypt, Nile, or Iraq, Tigris, and Euphrates, Saudi Arabia has no permanent rivers to support widespread agriculture and habitation. Groundwater dependence. The country relies heavily on underground water reserves, which are non-renewable and rapidly depleting. Desalination plants. Saudi Arabia produces the majority of its drinking water through desalination, but this is expensive and not feasible for supporting large-scale settlements in remote areas. With over 95% of the land classified as desert, fertile soil is extremely rare, making agriculture and sustainable development difficult. Historical and cultural factors. Historically, Saudi Arabia's population has been nomadic or semi-nomadic. Before the discovery of oil, most people lived as Bedouins, moving from place to place in search of water and grazing land. Oases and trade routes. The few settled areas were along oases or major trade routes, such as Mecca, Medina, and Riyadh. Tribal lifestyle. Many Saudi tribes historically preferred a nomadic way of life, which meant they did not establish permanent settlements in large parts of the country. Even today, much of the population is concentrated in cities, leaving vast desert regions unoccupied. Economic and urban development trends. Despite its large land area, Saudi Arabia has developed in a way that focuses on a few major cities rather than spreading out across the land. Major cities. Over 85% of the population lives in urban areas like Riyadh, Jeddah, Mecca, Medina, and Dammam. Oil and industry focus. The economy is centered around oil fields, most of which are near the Persian Gulf Coast, leading to urban development in specific regions rather than across the entire country. Additionally, the government has focused on mega projects in existing cities rather than trying to settle new areas. Government policies and national vision. The Saudi government is aware of the issue of empty land and has taken steps to utilize these vast areas. Some key initiatives include NEOM City Project, a $500 billion futuristic city being built in the northwest, aiming to transform an empty desert into a high-tech metropolis. Vision 2030, a national plan to diversify the economy and improve infrastructure in less populated areas. Green Saudi Initiative, aiming to plant 10 billion trees to combat desertification and make parts of the land more habitable. However, these projects are still in early stages, and it will take time before we see significant changes in population distribution, security, and strategic considerations. Another reason why large parts of Saudi Arabia remain empty is security and strategic concerns. Border areas. Many empty regions are near borders with countries like Yemen, Iraq, and Jordan, where security is a concern. Military use. Some empty areas are used for military training, missile testing, and border surveillance. These factors further limit civilian settlement in these vast regions. Future possibilities. Can Saudi Arabia make use of its empty land? Despite these challenges, there are several ways Saudi Arabia could use its empty lands in the future. Solar energy farms. The country receives abundant sunlight, making it ideal for large-scale solar farms. Artificial lakes and green projects. With advances in water management and desalination, some regions could become green and habitable. Space exploration and research. The vast empty spaces could be used for space research, similar to how the US uses deserts for testing. With the right technology and investment, parts of Saudi Arabia's empty land could become productive in the future. So, why is 80% of Saudi Arabia empty? The answer lies in geography, climate, history, economy, and strategic planning. The harsh desert environment, extreme temperatures, and lack of water make large-scale settlement difficult. Additionally, historical nomadic lifestyles and economic focus on oil-rich regions have concentrated development in specific cities, leaving vast areas unoccupied. However, with projects like NEOM, Vision 2030, and renewable energy investments, Saudi Arabia is working towards making better use of its empty lands. While we may never see the entire desert covered with cities, future developments could bring new life to these vast and empty spaces. What do you think? Can Saudi Arabia transform its empty lands into thriving communities? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insightful content. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.